Welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jamie Naftali and the channel's name is The Pediatric World, the world of the children. It is the channel on kids' welfare. We want to educate the mothers. We want to create the awareness on the common illnesses affecting children while growing up. We want that mother, that caregiver to be part of the management of these children, at least to understand what really happens to these children while growing up. So I welcome you into today's episode, and if you have not subscribed, be part of us. What are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, subscribe so that you will be part of us. And if you're that returning subscriber, thank you so much, I appreciate. So let's go direct to the video of today. And today we are treating bacterial meningitis in children. The management, the treatment of acute bacterial meningitis in those children that are above 1 month. So which antibiotics do we use? So the Ministry of Health recommends the following combination. It is usually a combination of drugs. We don't use a single drug. So we use a combination of drugs. And this drug, the first one is benzyl penicillin. I know this is common to many hospitals, and it is usually the first line drug. So we use benzyl penicillin at a dose of, we do IV or IM at a dose of 100,000 international unit per kg. And we do this 6 hourly. If it's a child who is above 1 month, we want to give after every 4 times, that is after every 6 hours. So benzyl penicillin, it is also known as Expen. So this is the first drug. Now we combine it with another drug called the chlorophenicol, and the chlorophenicol is 25 milligrams per kg, again 6 hourly after 4 hours. So we use this combination. So we have a second line, an alternative for the benzyl penicillin, but this is a second line, and this is ceftriaxone. Ceftriaxone, again, we use at a dose of 100 milligrams. However, you should have an LP result. You should have a lumbar puncture done and have the result for you to change from first line now to second line, which we are saying is the ceftriaxone. So note that we double the standard dose of Expen. Normally, when we say standard dose, we normally use Expen or benzyl penicillin at a dose of 50,000 international unit, either IV or IM. IV is through the vein, IM is through the muscle. So normally we do 50,000 international units. But when it comes to bacterial meningitis, it is a serious condition. We want to double the dose. Remember, we said we use 100. So the standard dose of many illnesses, like for example, neonatal sepsis, any other infection, we use a standard dose of 50,000 international units. But now for the meningitis, we want to double the dose. Please note that. Note that we are using 100,000, meaning 100,000 international units, and this is per kg of this child. In all cases, we treat children as per the kilos of these children. So hope you note this. So we double the dosages. So that's why we are using 100,000 and not the 50,000 that we are saying. Now, this is in case of a child who is above 1 month. This is a bigger child. How about a neonate? A neonate is that who is below 1 month. So these are very small babies. 0 years, that is a newborn, up to 1 month. So here we use the same medications. We use the benzyl penicillin, again a double dose of 100,000 international units per kg. But this time we use 12 hourly. We want to use it twice. We don't want to overdose these kids. They are small, so it's not like the bigger one. We are doing 6 hourly every 4 hours. This one we do after twice a day. That is 12 hourly. That is the difference, number one. We also use gentamicin, and gentamicin, depending on the kg, they are very small children. So those ones we use 3 milligrams again per kg. Other bigger one we use 5 milligrams per kg. So this one will depend with the age of the child. But for the gentamicin, we normally don't double the dose. We only double the dose of the penicillin, the X-pen, so we don't double the gentamicin. Hope this is very, very clear. So this is how we treat. These are the antibiotics that we use. The key point here is that we double the dose. Remember, we said we have long-term complications when it comes to meningitis. We want to clear. We don't want to clear it, to do it halfway. Another thing, when it comes to the duration, we also treat for longer. So again, for example, we said in neonatal sepsis, the X-pen or the benzalpenicillin, we use 50,000 international units, and we use for 5 days. But here we do for 14 days, 10 to 14 days. It is more stubborn. For meningitis is serious. We are doubling the dosages. We are also treating it for longer. That is 14 days, approximately 2 weeks, 10 to 14 days. Hope this is clear. Now, this is it about the treatment. These are the drugs that we use currently. So we have there's a way you have seen this how we treat the neonates, the very small babies, and also now the older babies, those that are more than 1 month old. So in summary then, now imagine we are finishing meningitis. So after treating, there's nothing else. So summary of meningitis. So when we summarize the whole topic, what are the key points if I do the summary of the same? That the streptococcal pneumoniae, this is microorganisms, that is strep pneumoniae or the streptococcal pneumoniae, and the H influenza. These are the most important causes of bacterial meningitis in children. The two, remember we said that when you were doing the introduction on bacterial meningitis in children. So the two are the important causes of bacterial meningitis, although we have others that we mentioned. Another summary, number 2, is that we need to use the AVPU scale to assess the level of consciousness. So remember we said these babies present with the AVPU less than A, meaning they are unconscious. And the AVPU, we said, is the scale we use to measure the level of consciousness. So this AVPU scale has to be used whenever we have a child with bacterial meningitis. Summary number 3 is that we cannot distinguish cerebral malaria with meningitis clinically, that is without doing tests. So you cannot just distinguish. Remember we said these are conditions, both of them are differential diagnoses, and we said differential diagnoses are those illnesses that present the same. How you are going to know it is the one and not the other is by doing the test. This is what we mean by that we cannot distinguish the cerebral malaria, especially. It presents so much the same as meningitis. You cannot distinguish the two clinically just by checking or by the signs and symptoms. Another summary point is that these children must be assessed with both the malaria slide and also the lumbar puncture. Now we are explaining the point above. The point you have just said that you cannot distinguish the same just clinically. So you need to assess both for malaria slide. When you do the malaria slide for the cerebral malaria, it is going to be positive, and you know this is severe malaria and not meningitis. For meningitis, you have to do an LP, the lumbar puncture, to get the CSF and subject it for lab results for you to say this is bacterial meningitis and not cerebral malaria. So another point is that the first line treatment of suspected meningitis is with the benzalpenicillin or the X-pen, we said, plus the chloramphenicol in children above 1 month. Remember, we said this is the first line drug, and we said we have to double the dosages. We said that, we mentioned that. So this is it. This is just a summary of meningitis, what we said from the beginning, the points, the strong points that people need to understand. So this is it. This is how meningitis is treated. Remember, we don't want to undertreat it. That is why we want to double the dosages. We also want to treat it for longer time than any other illness. So 10 to 14 days, that is what we said. So hope this is clear. It is a very scaring illness, and it has got bad, very bad, we call it prognosis. The prognosis is poor. So those who survive it, we have long-term complications. So imagine, this is very, very sad. So at least mothers, now you have the knowledge. When you see children having these symptoms, you can be able to tell, you run to hospital, you have now the knowledge of what is really happening. It's a scaring again, very, very scary. So thank you so much. This is the end of meningitis. If you have any questions, go to my comment section, comment on anything. Go to my email, it is provided here in the end of the video. Thank you so much for those who are getting their feedbacks from the emails. Comment also in the comment section. Also, turn on your notifications so that you can know every time I post a new video here. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to be part of this wonderful family. Share these videos widely so that they can reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much. Till next time. Bye-bye.